This is the Helios 44-2 Vintage Lenses for Video Cinema Edition by Iron Glass. It's been a while since I posted anything on my channel, but a couple of months ago I got a new lens from the guys at Iron Glass. And I thought I'd share some of my thoughts on the lens, on its usability, and the pros and cons, and why you might want to consider it. Opinions are quite divided on this project, and understandably. If you look at the chatter on Facebook and on the forums, there's a lot of people who really don't get why you would want to take an inexpensive lens you buy on eBay for £50 and do a rehousing on that lens. And then on the flip side, you've got people like myself who are really excited about the project because I've shot on vintage lenses for many years. I've used the Russian lenses and I really do love the Russian glass, but they do have usability issues when it comes to shooting video. So when I heard the guys from Iron Glass were doing a rehousing project, I got in touch. We chatted for a bit on Facebook Messenger and via email. I gave them some feedback and thoughts on some of their early versions. And eventually I ordered my first version of the lens. That arrived sort of mid-December, and I've had some time to play with it and fed back additional info. So this is an early version of the lens. They have made some additional tweaks, minor things at this point in the project. But I thought I'd share some of my thoughts as to why you might want to consider it. Optically, the lens is based on the Helios 44-2, which is a classic Russian M42 lens. Relatively inexpensive. You can pick them up sort of 50 quid, if that. If you look at some of the marketplaces or thrift shops, you can probably pick them up even cheaper. Optically, it's a 58mm f2, has low contrast, flares quite easily, has a sort of swirly bokeh, so it has a sort of vintage, dreamy kind of look to it as well. They were all metal housings, very easy to adapt because they're M42, so you could easily adapt it to PL mount, to EF mount, to Nikon mount, to whatever. So became really popular amongst both video and still shooters. One of the issues I have with shooting with video is the construction of this lens isn't particularly robust. It has a fair bit of play in the mount. It has a fair bit of play in the focus mechanism, and as a result, when you're pulling focus, you kind of get little shifts in your image, which if you're shooting off the shoulder and moving a lot, you can kind of cover that with your movement of the camera. But if you're shooting a narrative piece where you're pulling focus between two characters, that becomes an issue because you're going to see this little shift, especially when it's a 58mm lens. But I still love the lens, and so I've in the past adapted them to my use. So here's one that I've adapted. It's got a PL mount lens, it's got a focus gear on it, and it's got an 80mm front for a matte box. So just making it a little bit more usable for me. But I still have the same issue that there's still a little bit of play in the mount, there's still a little bit of play in the focus mechanism. So let's talk about the rehoused version. So what Iron Glass have done is they've created a full metal body with a 95mm front, so you can use clip-on matte box. They've increased the size of where you have the focus gear, so you've got a nice big focus gear. You've also got a nice big aperture gear. These are all nicely dampened. Same with the focus, nicely dampened. PL mount. And the focus gear, distance from the focus gear to the PL mount is a little bit increased as well, so you've got a little bit more space on your camera. What we found with this version is that your focus motors or your follow focus lands up being very close to the body, and you can't always get it in depending on your setup. This just gives you a little bit more space to play with. In doing so, they've still managed to keep this lens fairly compact. I mean, that's a 50mm cine lens with full cine gears ready to be used and still in a compact size. Now some people may say, oh, I don't really want a PL mount version. Iron Glass do offer other mounts. However, I'd probably still buy a PL mount version for this lens. And the reason why is this PL mount is a fairly shallow PL mount compared to a lot of the new PL lenses, especially the primes. You can't use a PL to EF adapter with a lot of new primes because the PL mount is much deeper. However, this one is fairly shallow, and so you can easily use a EF to PL adapter. So you can use it on any EF based camera, so the Red Raven, the Canon C series, etc. You can easily adapt them to E-mount, so here's an E-mount PL adapter. Again, easy to adapt, which means the lens becomes a lot more versatile, because if you ever do buy a PL mount camera or rent a PL mount camera, you can immediately use that same glass. So those are my initial thoughts on the project. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the other lenses in the series too, which I've ordered. Once I receive them, I'll do a much more extensive review of the stuff, so subscribe to the channel and then you'll get to see that as well. It is expensive when compared to a cheap eBay find. However, when compared to cinema glass, this is not expensive at all, and opens up a door for independent filmmakers to be able to get their hands on cinema glass that is usable in the field at an affordable price. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, and as soon as I have more, I will be sharing it. Thank you.